Absolutely. It's so good to be here. I'm loving this location, man. This is amazing.
Exactly, and you know, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I'm so happy to have you here. And, you know, the Icon Awards, it's a big deal. Everybody knows about the Icon Awards. So this season has been absolutely amazing. I've had some amazing guests, and we're closing the season off with the Icon Awards. What better way than to have Addis Huyler here with me? So tell us about yourself. Tell us about your journey.
Icon is probably the only thing that could get me up this early in the morning.
Okay, so how long have you been doing it so far? I think it's about 6 years.
This is the 6th year, and it's amazing that we've come this far. I remember, you know, the first year feeling like we were, you know, doing a good thing, but obviously there was nothing that said that we would have been successful. We were a new program. I was still relatively new, moving back to the Bahamas, so I didn't have a lot of contacts. And we just had this idea that people would be able to connect to this notion of being able to celebrate the best of what we have as Bahamians. And so we kept going the first year, knowing that it was good work, but always expecting to hit that roadblock that said, you know what, this is how far you go. This is it. You know, it was a good idea. We gave it a good shot. Now on to the next thing. And it just kept going and going and going. And we got to the first night, and then we got to year 3, and then we got to year 5, and now here we are. 6 years later and going strong.
What are some of your memorable moments? Because I'm sure, you know, you've had the opportunity to come into contact with so much people that we all know. So tell us about some of the memories in year 1, in year 2, in year 3. Because we all follow the Icon Awards. So behind the scenes, what are some of the most, first of all, what are the crazy moments that we don't see?
Well, there's so many. There are so many. You know, the Icon Awards is unique because everybody gets to come there, and I don't know if you've ever attended the awards.
I have.
So you know that energy that you feel, and that's that feeling of wow when you step out of your car.
It's
and
like
onto
the
red
Grammys
carpet.
of the Bahamas.
It is. I had that feeling once.
Great.
I did. It was the very first year of the show. And I was coming down the stairs. It was a Sheraton then. It's now the Malia. I was coming down the service entrance stairs, and I stood out of sight of everybody for a minute and just stood there and watched the red carpet and the cameras flashing.
Were you proud of yourself? Like,
I was amazed.
What was the nerves?
I didn't feel proud of myself because I didn't feel like I was the one that did it. I knew that it was definitely not my doing at all. This was certainly a divine intervention, and all the right systems coming into place at the same time to make this amazing opportunity. So I feel like the only thing that I had to do with it was have the courage to move forward and make the first step, you know, and everything else has just been kind of, you know, it's kind of fallen into place. Gina Roll has been with me since year 1, and so a lot of people say that Addis Huyler is the founder of the Icon Awards, but it's just as much Gina's program as it is mine. Adrian Archer has been with us the entire time as well, Latoya Hannah-Moxie, and so, you know, it's the best of what we have to offer in terms of event production, in terms of HR resources, in terms of professionals coming together at their best. Doesn't always go, you know, the way we expected. It's a live show. But at the end of the day, I think we've been able to pump out a program every single year that inspires people to want to be better.
What would you say to somebody who wants to, I wouldn't say put on the same production as the Icon Awards, but wants to put on a production? You know, everybody wants to do their own thing. How would you talk about relationship building and working along with persons? And what are some words of wisdom that you would tell somebody who wants to step out and do something like this?
Interesting enough, I had a phone call the other day from a colleague of mine, and she suggested that she wanted me to assist her with helping her put on an event. And I don't know what she expected my
This could be funny.
Yeah, I don't know what she expected my response to be, but I said, how do you make money doing that?
Right? But let me stop you right there. I think that's the thing. Sometimes these ideas have to make sense.
They have to make sense. That's my friend Bianca Bethel Sawyer from Alive is a good friend of mine. That's our catchphrase. It's got to make sense.
Exactly.
And so it's not just about having a great idea. There are tons of great ideas, but it's also about making sure that it's viable, making sure that you're not going to go broke doing this.
Exactly.
I have invested tons of my personal funds into the Icon Awards, especially in the earlier years when we were
Most
just trying
definitely.
to establish the brand. And that's a huge sacrifice to have to make. Luckily, I had a support system around me to be able to assist, but a lot of people don't have that.
Right.
And so that's the advice that I would give. Get out of the sentimentality of your idea. You know, yes, it's a great idea, love upon it for a little bit, and then get down to the business of looking at things rationally and in a way that makes sense.
I'm trying not to laugh because you used a big word to describe get out of your feelings. Sentimentality, get out of your feelings.
Get out of your feelings.
Get out of your emotions for a minute. And like this idea. But I think, you know what I think a lot of people miss out? They don't put it on paper, like you said.
Yeah,
you know, so I'm sure you did a lot of writing down. You did a lot of and even talking to others to see, you know, let me get this advice. You talk about your support system. So you really had that backbone, that those persons that you could have leaned on. And then, of course, you used your own wisdom and you wrote down and you said, let me see how this can make sense as well as empower others.
It's amazing that a lot of people don't understand the power in that. Again, good friend of mine, Rosemary Razor in Atlanta, she was the mother of my old boss, and she said, just very matter of fact and randomly one day, she said, if you have it in your head, it's an idea. If you write it down, it's a plan. And that has stuck with me from, I left Atlanta straight through, you know, straight through to where I am now. And so I write everything down. I can show you the handwritten paper, folder leaf paper that I had when I first started to sketch out the idea for City Communications Group 8 years ago. And so yes, you have to absolutely be as detailed as possible. It's not about feeling good. It's about being diligent, making sure that you're taking all the right steps in having a full and complete and profitable program.
How does it make you feel when you see nominees walk across the stage, or they call you and they say, thank you so much, Addis, for this opportunity. Thank you so much for recognizing me, or to you and your team. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? How does it make you and your team feel?
That's when I get back into my feelings. That's when it gets a lot more sentimental, and that's when it starts to land, that whole concept of how this program has grown by, you know, to such a magnitude. It's beyond humbling. I remember sitting in the audience last year and listening to Cleophas Adley give his acceptance speech, and knowing that he had basically left his deathbed to be there to receive that honor in the spirit and the intention that we had given him. And I felt more than proud. I felt very small in that moment because I understood that it was a divine moment. And I felt blessed to have been able to facilitate it. I felt blessed. So it wasn't about honoring him, it was about also what I received from it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, sitting down talking to you, I sense a lot of humility and gratification, and you know, you're just grateful for everything that you've been able to accomplish with your team so far. And so just tell everybody for a minute how important it is to pause and just be thankful, and how important humility is in your journey. You know, you can accomplish so much things, but if you're not humble within yourself, and if people do not sense humility off of you, the difference it makes in them accepting what you bring to the table. So just talk about humility and gratification for a minute.
Humility, gratification, relatability, just being able to be real.
Three powerful
man.
words.
Just be real. You know, so often, especially in the Bahamas, you see persons creating these social media lives for themselves. That's so picture perfect, and you look at them and you're jealous because they have
social
the perfect,
media life.
Yeah, the perfect wife and the perfect kids and the perfect house and the perfect job and the perfect everything, and we feel inadequate because of that. What you don't know is that behind the scenes, those persons are struggling just like everybody else, but nobody's talking about it. And so we don't understand the value in keeping it real and understanding that, hey, yeah, I run the Icon Awards, but I struggle to pay bills just like everybody else. I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to make the next right move and be the best I can be. And once you get to that point, I think that the rest of it comes easy. You know, just a matter of understanding that people connect to you on a real level, and people want to know that you have struggles and you have challenges just like everybody else.
Right. And in talking about struggles, what do you do to clear your mind? You know, we have this beautiful, we have a beautiful scenery. Okay, he obviously does a lot to clear his mind. We have this beautiful scenery in the back here, right? Do you come and look at the lake? Do you take a drive? You know what? But I mean, I don't even know if I want to know what made you laugh when I asked that question. what is it that you do? Okay, give him a minute, people. Okay.
Oh goodness.
He took a jog down memory
No,
lane. So,
the reason I'm laughing is because
let me fold my arms for this.
I don't know if I ever unwind.
Oh.
I don't know if I ever
So do your team walk around telling you need to unwind? 'Cause
Yes.
Okay, that's why you laugh.
Actually, after I leave here, my team is making me go on an excursion for the day. Like
okay.
literally, they're dragging me kicking and screaming.
Okay.
The thing is that I love my work. You know, I love my work. I love what I do, whether it's with Sitter or with Icon or with any other projects that I take on. I make sure I take on projects that I feel passionate about, that I feel fueled by, that I feel fulfilled by. So it doesn't feel like work.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there's stressful times, but there's very few times when I feel like I need to just disconnect.
Okay.
You know, I'm enjoying this life, man. I don't want to take a break from life. I'm enjoying it.
You look like you're enjoying it.
Yeah?
You know?
That's good.
You're just so happy, and you look like you're enjoying it. Is it the excursion that you're looking forward to?
I'm not looking forward to the excursion, actually. I would much rather be in bed watching Netflix, binge watching The Good Wife.
Okay.
So no, that's...
But anyway, on behalf of the team, thank you for taking Addis on an excursion today. I'm sure he needs it. So let's talk about season. Yeah, not season. It is season 6.
I guess
right?
you can call it season.
Right. So we're this is the 6th year of the production. Anything that you want to share with us leading up to year 6? Like anything that's different this year that you have not experienced before in the previous years?
I think I will say this. There hasn't been much that we've said about the show, and we'll start revealing more and more bit by bit over the next 5 weeks. We're not going to give away too much. There's some really, really big surprises that we want to keep for the show. But I will give you guys a hint. I will say this. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And so that's the hint that I'll have for you for this
But
year's
that's
show.
good, though, because that means the message stays the same.
Sure.
That means the level of relatability stays the same. That means you still have that connection with the people.
Yeah.
So it's great that the more it changes, the more it still remains the same.
Icon is about celebrating people. You know, it's more than just about handing out awards. It's more than just about getting dressed up and going to a ballroom for a fancy show. It's about connecting to that idea that the most important thing that you could do is validate the truth of who somebody else is. And that's what we're doing. We're validating people's spirits and empowering and emboldening the human spirit. And that's an amazing, amazing opportunity that we have.
It truly is. And what I like about it is you tap into different facets. Like it just isn't one stream. It's many streams that you tap into with the Icon Awards, and your nominees come from so many different categories. You know, you have education, you have entertainment, you have media, you have so many things that you tap into.
Sure.
So, I'm not sure if I asked you this in another way when we first started the interview, but I'm going to go and ask it again. What was kind of like the seed that started it all?
I wanted to win a Kasika Award. I've told this story before.
I never heard it.
I still want to win a Kasika Award.
Okay.
I still do.
Right.
I apply every year.
But see, but this is what I like. He's being relatable because we want these things.
No, but I really, really want to win a Kasika Award. No, I do, because at the time in 2013, I had just moved back. I'd been back from the United States for a couple of years. Had started my company, Sitter Communications Group, and our original memory books were basically revolutionizing the funeral program industry. And I thought it was some really special stuff that we were doing.
You thought what you were doing was a big deal.
It was a big deal, I thought. And so the Kasika Awards came around, and I was like, well, it would be nice to kind of get dressed up and receive an award and go on stage and be able to thank all the people that contributed to Sitter Communications growth over the years. There was no opportunity to do that. And I tried, and I still try. Because I don't work in the tourism industry.
Right.
And so you think about all the people, the persons that are working on this production today, the cameraman, my team going on the excursion today, the waiter, serving you drinks at the restaurant. Anybody that's out there pouring their hearts and souls into their work, they want to know that they're doing a good job as well. And so that's how the idea came about to create this program, to recognize Bahamians for simply being outstanding.
Okay. Now, still trying to win the Kasika Award?
Yes. Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I can't win an Icon Award because if I could, that would be the goal.
Right,
But I can't win an Icon
Right.
Award, so I'm still trying for the Cacique. The interesting thing is that they have a special events category now. And
See, so you had
yes.
something to do with
So
that.
wait, the interesting thing is that okay, so I couldn't win a Cacique Award, so I started the Icon Awards. But now I can qualify for a Cacique Award for the Icon Award.
See, you
So,
made your way
voila,
in there.
voila,
You made
voila.
and even that is a moment to pause and say, you know, we may not be able to change the whole concept of things, you know, what the Cacique Award stands for, whatever it is that you're aiming for, but you could influence change in some way.
Yeah.
And so there's an avenue now, and you're entering in so much stronger, you know, in the year 6 than you were in year 1 when you initially had this dream of having a Cacique Award. So
It blows my mind, you know, really to consider how the program has grown and how it's been embraced. I wake up every day feeling so incredibly blessed, you know, to be at the helm of this program because Gina and I have worked hard, the entire team has. And to know that the work that we've put in is being received well and is being regarded with the intention that we've given it. It really, really, really feels good. And it's meaningful work. And I wish that feeling for everybody.
most definitely. And, you know, I just want to ask you, because we've had such a wonderful chat, I just want to ask you, what keeps you going and what you do to unwind, but what phrase or quote would you say that you keep in your head or in your heart or in your spirit to drive you every day? What would you tell others? How would you inspire others with this quote? And please tell us what it is so we can kind of hold it near and there as well.
It's funny. Years ago, I was in a very, very, very difficult situation years ago, and I met this guy. David was his name. He was an older guy. He reminded me a lot of Richard Pryor in his comedic timing, maybe in his 60s. And I was just in that moment, and I was venting, and he was like, you know, Addis, I need you to calm down. The important thing is not to panic, not to panic. And again, I don't think he meant it as a nugget of wisdom at that time, but my staff can tell you I say it all the time. Anyone that I work with, my family, look, the important thing
to think about that,
is not to panic. Whatever it is, whatever is going on, whatever life throws at you, keep your cool, keep a level head, and handle it the way you know you can. That's what I do every single day. I don't panic. I just roll with the punches and make the best out of whatever cards I'm dealt.
That's probably why you need to go on an excursion, because you don't panic. Nothing's stopping you. So that's why they try to slow you down a little bit. Your team is like, breathe, Addis, breathe.
Look, you don't understand. They tag teamed me, man. They were like, you gotta go. We don't care. You're coming. And so, you know, we work the schedule. That's
wonderful.
So, yeah.
So would you say that, taking everything into consideration from year 1 to 6, and we're about to see year 6 in a few short weeks, would you say that in 2018 you are on the rise?
Absolutely. We are absolutely on the rise.
Bye.
Bye.